If you feel it's your football IQ or ironing out those tiny little details that's stopping you reaching the next level, I promise you this video is for you and you'll get a ton of value from it. I chose some clips that stood out to me in the first 10 minutes of this match, all covering different positions so it can help you understand the intricacies of the game, because clarity is confidence.
Fabinho's decision making here to play the pass out wide to the winger is great. He recognises City are cutting off the space in the middle, therefore the space must be out wide. Midfielders take note. Look how his head is up, assessing which passing lane to choose based off Mahrez, who is initially blocking off the pass to the winger and very smartly tries to read the pass to the fullback to cut it off and counter. Fabinho is composed and makes the right decision out of the two. Now look how the winger Diaz receives the ball. Open body position to face the defender up. Wingers try to have you back to the line as much as you can. This way you can see the whole picture. Another thing to notice is how he drops deep to be an option through the passing lane. Now imagine if Thiago made this run off the blind side of the midfielder, as it would create numerical advantage. The defender now has a decision to make, which one to pick up. The ball back to Robertson, who wastes no time with the switch, because if they can play fast they can exploit the space on the other side. A simple thought process for any fullback watching this is to think, where is our numerical advantage? This will improve your decision making and awareness. Good awareness from Matip to play first time. And look how important switching the ball is. Fabinho has no space with two players around him. Whilst the ball is switching, he makes his way over to support Trent and is now free. Check these shots. The awareness as the pass is about to come into him. The ball is now halfway to him and his head is up looking at Salah's movement, who is already at full speed whilst the defender is stood still. Let's talk about Fabinho's thought process for you centre defensive midfielders. In this position here, you're most likely trying to combine with your winger. 1. Do I have space? 2. Is my winger coming to feet or running in behind? And a hack for all midfielders is learning to be comfortable looking whilst the ball is halfway to you. If he didn't look, how would he have seen Salah's movement? Now look at this composure and skill. Foot on the ball, drawing the player in. Being composed enough to wait for the player to make the first move. At the last second, rolls away from the pressure and plays through the passing lane. Him being composed and drawing the player in has led to this. 8 Liverpool players, so compact, and it's a great opportunity to switch the ball. Now let's talk about the fullback's thought process again with Walker, as he would be way more dangerous stood here. 1. Where are all the opposition players? 2. Where can I create an overload? A 2v1 with Mahrez is easily on here, but now instead that great opportunity has been wasted. Now De Bruyne's awareness on the throw-in. Spotting Mahrez has stayed wide and there's a huge space in the middle. He makes a blindside run on Thiago. And look how dangerous this is now. Haaland spotting the run from De Bruyne and the huge gap he can exploit by running across his marker. And it's great recovery from Fabinho, who gives De Bruyne no time. This clip shows you midfielders how important it is to run into spaces. This is why coaches love a midfielder with a great work ethic. If you don't, start making those blindside runs on the pitch. It will improve your impact dramatically and also the team's. Again, Fabinho checking his shoulder and spotting plenty of blue shirts in the middle. Salah on the blind side putting his arm up is his cue to play this worldy pass. Now he's 1v1. How did Salah skip past him so easily? What's the secret? Well, if you've been watching my Insta and TikTok, you've probably guessed it now. The angle of approach. Look at the space he could drive into. But instead, he runs almost directly in field. Why? Salah running like this makes the defender have to stop, as he's threatening both angles. Now the defender has stopped, Salah can use that initial space without any pressure from the defender as he's stuck in the mud. Wingers don't always immediately run into the space you see with the ball. Sometimes you need to keep that space in mind, but first of all shake off the defender so you can use it freely like this. This is really important, so we're breaking it down a little more. Imagine if Salah ran here first. The defender follows and now he's got no space. Salah running here keeps the defender out of this space. The cue for Salah's touch to beat the defender was the defender planting his feet. When driving into the box, the defender can't keep backing off. This is why it's so powerful running into the box as an attacker. He will have to plant his feet at one point. If you compose, you can wait for it and sharply move the ball like this. Now strikers, look at Haaland's movement. As soon as De Bruyne touches the ball, he's off, making a blindside run. But I want you to notice what gate he ran through. And why?
Because this is a mistake I see a lot of lower league players making, and myself for years.
If Haaland were to run through this gap, all the defenders would come tighter together, leaving no room for the passing lane. But Haaland moving away from the ball and exploiting this space keeps the defence as wide as possible, making it easier for De Bruyne, who has multiple passing lanes now. And for midfielders making this type of pass, it's much more successful with a little bit of disguise. As you can see, Van Dijk can read it from a mile away.
Once you start to master the basics of football, it's this sort of stuff that's stopping you reaching that next level. Your football IQ, decision making, and all these tiny little details. But too often in training, we're just stagnating by doing the same old basic drills without focusing on this really important aspect of the game. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment on what you took from this video, or anything that you noticed that you've never noticed before. And other recommendations for future videos would be great as well. See you in the next one, and keep chasing your potential.